Australia has a high level of living for most of its citizens and one of the world's most successful economies. It routinely tops lists of the world's wealthiest average households, competing with Switzerland. However, it has done this without a significant recession in 30 years. Since they're lucky in many ways, it's called the lucky country. They're lucky to have a huge, bountiful landmass with no borders and a small population. When they were a little tribe of convicts, they borrowed a robust democratic structure from the UK. Economists call them the lucky country, which many people don't realize. You made excellent investments into all of the appropriate areas and now you are set for life. You're so lucky. Doesn't apply to Australia. You see, Australia's success has relied on industries that have struggled in other countries. Furthermore, the country appears to be repeating the same mistakes as all of these cautionary tales, but they keep getting away with it. So, what's happening? What makes Australia's economy so resilient? If this luck runs out, what issues could the country face? Is Australia a developed economy? Welcome to the Financial Flow. Please like and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up on our latest videos. As much as a backyard cricket and Tim Tam slams are Australian traditions, ragging your own country and how it's run is too. The performance speaks for itself, so I won't be too critical. Clearly, Australia is doing well. If you love something, you don't want it to hurt itself. So here goes. Is Australia a developed nation? I'm sure most of you viewing would respond, yeah, of course it is. What's an advanced economy? Well, it turns out that practically everyone has done the same thing because there is no numerical benchmark that identifies a developed or developing or underdeveloped economy. The International Monetary Fund loosely uses the word to designate countries with all of the following: a high per capita income, high industry, diverse exports, and financial system connected with the world economy. We can readily check off Australia's high per capita income. Yes, it's a wealthy nation. Financial integration? Australia's currency and financial system are well regarded. It has the 7th most widely held currency despite having the 13th largest economy. Its stability is likewise well established, whether by luck or not, until exports looking nice. Nearly 2/3 of Australia's exports are resources, and 18% are education and tourism. If you're wondering how tourism and education count as exports, remember that exports track money flow, not containers put onto ships. In exchange for goods and services, visitors and foreign students bring money to Australia, which is a beneficial export. Selfies in front of the Opera House don't utilize it. Australia doesn't limit university degrees either. They are infinitely renewable and can contribute to the balance of trade as long as they are in demand, which they were until 18 months ago. Coronavirus has nearly eradicated these two vital export categories. This added to Australia's education problems, which had become excessively dependent on foreign cash. A number of Australian colleges were criticized for awarding degrees to overseas students who didn't understand the language. This selfishness in garnering exchange student cash is not unique to Australia, but it was particularly common there, and it was starting to undermine their global reputation as a great destination to study. So maybe these export categories weren't perpetually renewable. All of that is academic now, because no international travel means no tourists or exchange students, which leaves just exporting natural resources and cows. Imagine this. Imagine a country that exports mostly livestock and raw commodities. You're presumably picturing an underdeveloped or developing nation. A nation that can only generate food and rocks. So when it comes to export diversity, Australia might not make the cut until these other export categories become possible again. And even then, it's not as well diversified export base. This has major repercussions beyond missing out on sophisticated economies. Over-reliance on one export class might cause currency volatility in foreign markets. This does several things. For Australian companies, conducting business abroad and foreign investors wanting to invest in Australia, it raises foreign exchange risk. If you're an Australian corporation, you might want to spend 10 million Australian dollars in a factory or shops overseas. If your business succeeds and is sold for $15 million, that's terrific, right? Unfortunately, the price of iron ore and the Australian dollar have doubled, so you only get back $7.5 million, making this otherwise great transaction a huge expense. Australia has struggled to attract tech investment hubs like Silicon Valley because international investors want to invest in Australia. Some of their greatest and most inventive IT businesses end up establishing offices in the US for this reason. Which is a shame because Australia has the potential to be a great hub of innovation. Despite its small population, Australia has contributed greatly to hearing implants and top-notch battery storage. They lost these innovations and have a terrible history of investing hundreds of millions of dollars in world-changing innovations just to see a company in an easier-to-get investor country profit from them. Instead of generating goods with significant value addition through technological know-how and innovative machinery, their industrial sector is almost non-existent and diminishing every year. Despite its small population, Australia has one of the highest foreign direct investment levels in the world. In recent decades, property in Sydney and most of Australia's big cities has grown by 7% per year, increasing its net worth. That would give our client $280,000 in average unrealized capital gains, increasing their net worth to $530,000 per year, while only being taxed on $150,000. Put another way, if someone wanted to make that money, much money, after tax by merely working a regular job in Australia, they would need to be paid roughly $1 million a year. Now those of you thinking, oh, but they will have to sell all their properties to actually access any of the money they got from the capital gains, right? Well, that's not exactly accurate. Once our investors wait for their properties to increase in value enough, they can easily get a cash-out mortgage to give them an injection of cash, if they need it. If they don't need it, they can get a cash-out mortgage and put the extra money toward another investment property. If you make a lot of money in Australia, you should invest in property. Unfortunately, this makes property expensive for average workers, especially young professionals in major cities on low earnings. However, it attracts many of the foreign investors we saw previously, especially Chinese buyers who are searching for a safe, secure market to store their capital, where they can own homes eternally rather than leasing them from the government for 70 years. This tendency is slowing, especially due to the coronavirus, but many of these properties may never be sold again, further reducing the supply that average Australians may have to battle over. So there you have it. A country that made itself very wealthy by digging up dirt to sell overseas and providing its inhabitants tax advantages for buying up more patches of dirt there. So far it appeared to have committed every error in the book, every incorrect step from every country that it relied too heavily on natural resources, or encouraged too much pressure to be put on real estate markets, yet here it is, seemingly unscathed by it all. Let us all hope that Australia's luck does not run out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have a good one.